Hi, welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Lee Syatt, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Wasteland Podcast. I'm so happy to have you all here. To all of my OGs, which I should not say, I can't pull that off. But to all of everyone who's been with me so far on the journey, thank you. The response has been amazing. I love all of you. I hope whether you're here to lose weight or you're just here because you like the sound of my voice. I don't know who would do that. I hate the sound of my voice personally, but thank you. If you're here for our amazing guest this week, Shane Wally, thank you for joining. And thank you to everyone who knows, maybe you're binging this in a year when I've lost 150 pounds and you just want to go back to see how chubby my face was. Thank you for joining. But specifically, everybody, and I'm going to get to Shane in just a couple of minutes. I just want to give everyone a couple updates. But Shane is a wonderful, wonderful person. Very kind, very funny, very nice, and I'm super thrilled to have him. So if you're here for Shane this week, I just want to let you know that this podcast is a podcast to make weight loss more accessible and attainable. I have struggled with weight for my entire life. If you listen to the first couple episodes, I talk about all of the struggles I've been on and what I'm doing now. Like I said, I haven't said it yet. I have an announcement to make. But last week, for all of my my regulars, I was announcing that I thought that just maybe I was going to cross the 60 pounds loss mark threshold, and I did. I'm so excited. I'm 61 pounds down, and I'm probably going to be a little bit more to tomorrow. I weigh in on Tuesdays, the day this podcast comes out, but I have to get it ready, so I can't let you know exactly where I am. But I'm gonna keep you updated throughout the whole process. So I'm at least 61 pounds down. I probably have at least another 100 to go. So we're gonna be here for a while. Get ready, strap in. We're on this journey together. And the good and the bad thing is when I do hit, or when we all of us hit, hopefully our weight loss goal, I can't go back to the way I was eating. That's not to mean I can't enjoy something every now and then, but I'm going to do my best to not relapse is a strong word, but to not go back to my old ways. I want to really take the good habits that I've learned and built throughout this process, and I'm starting to build them. I'm probably just over a third of the way there, but I want to take what I've built and build on it. I don't want to have to start over. I'm sick of starting over. That's it. I'm just so happy. I'm excited because I have a lot of great guests coming up. I have next week Obese to Beast. He's great, from YouTube and Ellen DeGeneres show. He's awesome. I have two former contestants, including one who came in second place by 1 pound from The Biggest Loser. They're coming on. Tomorrow, I have a dietitian who I'm scheduled to record with who focuses on diabetes care. So there's been a lot of people reaching out, which has been amazing. And the most exciting thing is I'm not sure when it'll come out. Maybe not next week, because next week is John Glaude, Obese to Beast. But maybe the week after, or the week after that, definitely, I'm going to release an episode because I'm recording all of this week with you. I have you guys, if you reached out to me at wastelandpodcast@gmail.com, please continue to do that. But if you already have, you should have gotten an email with a link to schedule a Zoom call with me. And I have, like Friday, I think I have like 6 or 7 of them. And I have like probably 10 or 11 this whole week. So that episode will come out soon. And I'm hoping to do that at least once a month, is release an episode with you and to show everyone and to show myself that it is possible, because I know past me had a lot of trouble and would always make excuses or get down on myself and why start, you're just going to fail again. But everyone struggles. Actually, there's a nice, very nice lady, and I don't want to say her name wrong, so you'll hear it on the podcast, but she reached out and said, I'm not sure if you would want to talk to me. I lost over 100 pounds, and then I was lucky enough to have a baby, and I gained about 50 pounds back. And I said, are you serious? Of course I want to talk to you, because everyone, I mean, I don't know about everyone, but I have gained weight back every time. Everyone gains weight back, I think. If you don't, I would love if you have, like last week's guest, Greg. He's one of the few. Thank you very much to Greg, who lost 100 pounds 10 years ago and has been able to keep it off. How amazing is that? But I think a lot of people do struggle with the yo-yo effect, as they call it, of losing weight and gaining weight. So I want to talk to everyone. I am very excited this week. Also, this podcast is now brought to you by Manscaped. So for all of the male listeners, or for all the female listeners out there, if you have a man in your life, Manscaped is for you. They make products like the Lawnmower 3.0. They have one called the Crop Preserver, which is great. And they also have one called the Crop Reviver. It's to make your twig and berries smell fantastic. And let me just say, God, every time I spray that, it smells so good. All of my bigger guys out there, if you're listening or watching, trust me. I know, like I put this on my other podcast. Sometimes the twig and berries gets covered under the snow. Let me put it that way. It's hard to find. You got to do a lot of digging. And with the Lawnmower 3.0, it's safe. There's a light so you can go look at that. You're not going to get lost. Check out Manscaped. Do me a favor and do yourself a favor, because no matter who is going around your twig and berries, you want it to smell and look its best. That's what I mean. We're losing weight to be healthy, but we're also losing weight to for a variety of reasons. I won't put it on you. I'll put it on me. I'm losing weight because I'm interested in spending more time with the very fine ladies who are out there. And Manscaped is going to make that a much better, more fun experience for both of you, because no one wants to see or smell my twig and berries at the moment before Manscaped. But with Manscaped, they do. You get 20% off and free shipping, which is amazing. Free shipping is the best thing since sliced bread, and we all know how delicious bread is. You get 20% off and free shipping with code SYATT. S as in Sam, YATT. That's 20% off with free shipping when you use code SYATT at manscaped.com. And you can unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Code SYATT to get 20% off plus free shipping. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I am so excited and thrilled to bring you my amazing, wonderful guest, Mr. Shane Wally. I found him on Instagram looking up just weight loss tips and techniques, and Shane came up, and if you don't know Shane, you're in for a treat, because he is just the nicest, most positive, most wonderful person probably on Instagram. Very positive. There's not a negative bone in his body. Well, I'm sure there is, but he does a good job of always having an outwardly positive experience. But he does. I follow him on Instagram, and he is very open about the fact that when he was bigger, before he lost 100 pounds, he wasn't always so positive. And part of his journey, which you're going to hear about in this episode, has been becoming a more positive person. And he really is. I had no contact with him before the podcast. He's one of the nicest people that I've met. If you want to follow him, I can't recommend it enough. And I'll tell you how to get in touch with him right now. He is Shane_Wally. That's SHANE _Wally, like the movie, but he spells it WHALLEY. and on TikTok, where he is very popular. His his TikTok is Shane Whalley. Like I said, ShaneWhalley. But on TikTok, there's no underscore, and on Instagram, there is an underscore. So I'm super excited and honored to welcome Mr. Shane Whalley to the Wasteland Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, Shane. It's amazing with social media, and I'm only 32, but I feel like an old man already because I sort of hate it. But I mean, I'm like everyone else, and I start scrolling through, and I just saw you one day. I just saw you and started following you because I've been big my whole life, like gone up and down, and it's sort of like we're like brothers in arms almost. Like when being a big person, it can be such an isolating thing, and it doesn't. It's just I feel like maybe skinny people just don't really understand, and everyone has their own issues, which is it's hard to see that. But when I see another big person, it's like I just want to go give them a hug. And like you have so many things you can relate on with, and it's just to see you. And I'm one of your newer followers, but you've been on this journey for like 14 months. You said, right?
Yes. So technically, is this one of the questions that will be on there?
Oh yeah, we're going.
Oh, wicked. Okay. Yeah. So technically, I started my journey in 2012.
Okay. I've lost and gained weight 800 times. I started this journey in 1988 when I was born.
It's just so long, but this journey has been since January of last year, and so yeah, it's been fun.
I just saw it in your eyes. You were going all the way back there. So I wanted to just to start off. I wanted to know, because for me, like I said, I was big. I was born premature, and then ever since then, I've been trying to make up for it. And I've been big since I was a kid. Almost everyone except for my brother, my family's big. Like, were you a big kid, or were you in shape as a kid and got big later? How did that work?
So I was more in shape, younger, and then more as the bullying in my life grew, so did I. And
Right.
so it's so like I was putting weight on. My parents took me to some nutritionists, to some clinics, doctors appointments, trying to see what was going on. And it sounds like from the stories that they told me is that when I was younger, I never really got the point of what was happening. And like, for example, there's one time I went to this one clinic, and they put out portions of food, so to say like this is what someone should be eating, and I was like, oh well, I could eat 3 of those,
Right.
and so and so like as a younger kid, I wasn't really getting it. The gravity wasn't being presented to me properly, but also back then we didn't have what we have now.
Not at all. Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
30.
Okay, so we're exact. It's one of my favorite things. I love going back and because I love TV. Do you remember the commercials when you were growing up? Fruit Loops, part of a balanced breakfast, and there'd be a glass of orange juice and a thing of buttered toast next to Fruit Loops, and it's part of a balanced breakfast. Like no part of that is good. The tough part is like there's no secret about losing weight. It's like it's not rocket science. It's you eat less and you move a little bit, but there's so much emotion behind eating and all. Like it's like for like what you said. Like I remember being teased from a very early. Like I wasn't like beat up and bullied like that, but it's like to be the big kid, especially like I'm short, so I'm short and big. So it was just you feel very alone. But like, do you remember maybe when the first time you realized you were bigger than everybody else?
I was at swimming lessons as a kid.
Yeah, swimming's a tough thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just starting to build breast tissue.
Okay.
And I had to do. I was the dummy for CPR, and when I laid down, I saw everyone look at me, and then immediately I put my hands across my chest.
Right, right.
And then and then ever since then, since like that year of swimming, I always wore a shirt whenever being in water.
Yeah,
And so
I don't think my torso has seen the sun since the early '90s. Like since I was a kid, I'm pale. Like I'm not usually in Florida, but I put a little bit of color on because I've been taking walks as part of my thing. But I've never, like, I don't think I would feel comfortable for me to take a shirt off in front of someone. It's a family member or like someone like I'm in a relationship. It's not like to just jump in the pool and do a cannonball. Like that's one of the things. When I get to where I want to get to, I have a friend who's a photographer, and I told him, like, when I get to my goal weight, I'm gonna do a photo shoot in a Speedo. I want to like I really want to like see what that's like to just like
yeah,
feel comfortable doing that.
yeah, it's so like for me when it comes to the shirt off, even in front of my mom, I have issues taking my shirt off. I
Hmm.
like it's like I've been scarred from what I've gone through in the past to really dislike myself in certain ways. And that's something that's part of been my journey was to work on that to self-love again.
Oh
And
yeah.
and so but even at doctors, like I'm just like before I was just like I don't feel comfortable taking my shirt off. And there's times when I would refuse treatment because of
Oh,
it.
I I was gonna get to this later, but it's I avoid going to the I avoid going to the doctor because it just feels like A, you're gonna get in trouble.
Mhm.
B, the scale in their office always adds, like, it's never what the scale says at home. and
Yeah.
and and, and like they always, like, even if you go for like like a sore throat, they're like, get on the scale. Like, I don't want to get on the scale right now. And like I'll like when I go, I purposely wear shorts and a t-shirt, and I take my wallet, I take everything, I take my keys out, I take
Yeah.
my socks off. I'm like, you're gonna weigh me as light as possible. I avoid, like, did you ever do that? Did you avoid going to the doctor? Yeah, it's
I did. It's like so there's this thing that there where doctors have a bit more of a I want to make sure I say the right word. It's like okay, I can't say this as a fact. This is just a feel, and through other people's conversations who are through or with like the body positivity movement that I talk to, and everyone has said that when they go to the doctors, your weight is always brought up.
mhm.
And so when it comes to there, it's like sometimes your medical treatment is, oh, if you just lose a few pounds, you'll be fine. Or if you do this, you'll be fine. And it's like, I don't know how like a few pounds will help me get over a sore throat. But
Right.
and so I'm just like, okay. but like I don't want to get into that too much because I know that could open a whole bunch of stuff. But it's just like even when I went to the doctors, I luckily had the most wonderful doctor growing up, and he understood the mental part of my weight. He knew I was bullied, and so he knew, and he was him and my cardiologist now are the only doctors that I lift my shirt up for.
Wow.
And so it's a lot. I have been trying so hard this year because I've had a lot of medical appointments this year because I'm trying to make sure I'm doing this right.
Hmm.
I've been more like open with my chest showing or certain things like that, or lifting up my shirt a bit, you know. It's just like I'm working my way up there. It's a process, you know. And
Well,
so
absolutely. The thing that I don't think was talked about for me growing up was the mental part of it. And I don't know. I honestly, I would love to talk. I went to therapy for other things, but I would love if like there's some sort of way they could go in and like see why I eat. Like, and I definitely eat emotionally. I love eating at late at night, or if like even with this on my weight loss thing, when I'm losing weight, I just hit 50 pounds the other day, but the first thing I did when I hit 50 pounds was like, what meal do I get to have to celebrate losing 50? Like, it's still like, I'm not really a drinker. I don't really do drugs, marijuana occasionally, but I mean, it's my thing is food. There's nothing better to me than like, on it, to be very honest with you. That's how I found you. When when I am losing weight, I like going on Instagram and looking at pictures of the food I can't eat just to imagine what it might taste like. And it's like it's so emotional, and it's I think that's the part, like it's I always try to, I feel like a loser saying this, but like when people are like, oh, food is a drug, and it is, and it's definitely an addiction, but it's like you don't want to be like, oh, I'm addicted to food when you're addicted to heroin. Like it's a little bit of a different thing, but it maybe that's just in our heads. It's like, you know what? Maybe this is just as valid. Maybe because like I would go to fast food places and they'd say see you tomorrow, and I'd be like, well, that's embarrassing. Like they know that they know me here, and it's like, you know what? You can't go buy heroin at 7-Eleven, but you can go buy as many candy bars as you want, and they say thank you, and it's like they have commercials for it. It really is. I think that's the hardest part for me. I don't know about you, is just starting it. Is just like is saying like, oh, listen, I'm not gonna have candy today, or I'm not gonna, like, I would sometimes, like, I dealt with mental health and depression, and like sometimes I would just leave the house because I knew I could get like something delicious.
Mm-hmm. Well, first I want to say congratulations on 50 pounds.
Thank you very much.
That is huge, and I can't even I can imagine, but can't imagine how you feel, because it's always different for each peer person. But that is huge, and bravo to that.
Well, thank you so much.
Now when it comes to food addiction, so I do need to touch on that. So I am addicted to food.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have eating disorders that I'm working on. That's part of the reason why I talk with doctors. And I'm going to every possible professional that I can, healthily this time, to make sure it's right. Now, when I was looking up food addiction and comparison, so the stigma behind someone saying food addiction is negative. People just think, oh, it's a unfortunately, this is how through the things I've read, a cop out way of saying that you like to eat. And right. I was like, okay, I wish I could express to people how, to someone who is large and is aware of what their actions are in that sense, that the food addiction is very strong. Like it's there's times where people used food to get me to do stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm going to go to town. We'll stop and get some food on the way, and we'll do that. And like, my soul is like, don't do it. But your body's just like, go. And so
right.
And then it's such a battle. And it's just, and the thing is, like, you in your head, like you're like, oh, I can eat this. I'll be fine. Or I'll go here. I won't get this. I won't get this. But then you have the weak support system that does that, and then they're just like, I'm gonna stop at this burger joint or this burrito place. Oh, what do you want to get? And then you're like, you slowly put yourself in that, like, I guess I'll have something, and you're in your head thinking, well, maybe I'll just get like a single sandwich, or I'll get something small, just something good. And then you look at the board, you see there's a deal, like, oh, I could get two for $2. Oh my gosh! And so, it pulls, it just rips out of you, and that entire strength that you have gets ripped out and open, and then you're just like, I could get all this food for this cheap, you know what? Yeah, and you're in the hype moment, you're like, that looks so good, and then you order it, you get the food, you get the bag, you eat the first thing, you're like, ah! Like, why did I do that? Like in the hate. And so that is why I and as you said, someone addicted to heroin and someone addicted to food, like, yeah, those gravities are entirely separate. And so it's just it's each, as I've been always told, that anything can become addictive,
right?
And so it takes a lot for people to get through it. Like I actually seek out help when I feel like I'm going to cave again and binge eat, because I'm very open about my eating disorders, because that's how I address them. As long as I make them out there, I'm aware and I know. Right. So like I binge eat, I purge, and I overeat, and then I sometimes I starve myself. Like there's all these things that I've done. Thankfully, the only ones I fight with right now are binging and purging.
Okay.
So I have made my way through all that now, and even the purging is almost gone. And so it's like it's all these things, right? But
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's go ahead.
I was just gonna say, A, congratulations, and B, like I think when you hear, or at least I'll say for me, when I hear eating disorder, I think of like people who are extremely skinny. Like that's like it's like anorexia or with bulimia. People who like I had one of my great friends in high school and early college was bulimic and struggled with it for many years. But I think like I wasn't aware until I started this that there are bigger people who really get into like the binging and purging aspect. And like when you started that, was it like, were you sort of like angry at yourself that you ate that much and then you wanted to get it out? Like I've never, knock on wood, I've been lucky to not deal with that. Like how did that start for you?
Mine started in grade 6.
That's so young.
Yeah, and I've only been able to start conquering it 2 years ago.
Wow.
And so and I know there's probably a lot of questions like, well, if he's been purging, why is he still big? I'm like, because it doesn't always work that way. And so, like, in a perfect world, I wouldn't be, I would be who I've always dreamed of being, right? But
right.
There's so many emotional battles. So it started in grade 6 because that's when my parents were getting divorced.
Right.
I didn't realize what was. It's not like it's like I'm gonna go throw up today. It just started happening. Like I truly didn't know what I was doing. I just was unconsciously doing it, and then after I found out what it was, and I was like, oh. And then I knew that I spoke to a counselor about it. They were worried about me for a while. They wanted to talk to my parents, and then eventually I allowed them to, but then nothing happened from there. And then I was lying to the world at that point and my family saying, oh yeah, it's fine, I'm not purging anymore, I'm good and stuff. And then because I didn't want my mom to worry, because my mom just got out of this long relationship with my father. And I was like, she doesn't need my stress on her. I'm just going to hold her. I'm just going to keep holding. So I learned to really hold things that way as a child. I was holding my bullying. I was holding my abuse. I was holding the attacks that I constantly get physically, mentally from people. I was holding the divorce stress, all these things, and school and performing all these things when I was younger. And I just was always remembering that I had to be the strong one for my mom. And so with that mindset, I unfortunately developed these negative habits. So it's just large people can have eating disorders. And because the way it is looked upon is that, oh, well, a person who is thin would be the one throwing up because they want to stay thin or think they're too fat or whatever their demons is their reason. And that's something why I say the word fat very calmly, because it has a lot of negative energy around it from people.
Right.
I say fat to normalize the word fat because like for example, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
No. Go. This is amazing. Please go ahead.
So when it comes to like, there's times I'll talk to a friend. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired of being fat. Like, don't say you're fat, Bob. I was like, but I am.
Right.
I have accepted this wholeheartedly. It does not affect me.
Right.
But like I know a lot of other people aren't okay with being fat, and that's just when you know how to talk to your audience or talk to the people that you're around. If someone's not okay with a word, you respect them, right? And it's just you want the people who you're talking to, the people around you, to feel comfortable because you want to be comfortable. And then of course it comes in conversation. If someone says, "Why do you say that so openly?" And it's because I've accepted that that's what I am and that's what I'm working on. And so,
well, it's really tough because on a lot of levels, because every person who's big knows that they're big. It's not like, oh my God, I haven't seen a mirror. Like,
what? When did this happen?
Yeah, everyone knows it, but it's also I think it's all about intent, because yes, I can say like I'm Jewish. A lot of people can say, "Oh, you're a Jew," or they can say, "You dirty Jew." Like it's all about intent, and it's all about like even like your friends or like yeah, as terrible as this is, even with people who are very close to you, or even people who aren't. When you're big, it's just the first thing like they go to when they're mad or angry, and it's the first, like you see it online all the time with, oh, that fat piece of shit. Like it's the first, even good, like even people who like are supposedly woke or good, or even if you know they're good people, when people get angry, the first thing that comes out is, oh, they're fat. Like it's a very, it's an easy target for people because it's right in front of you, and it's tough because it's like it's sort of like an easy joke, like
Yeah.
like I come from the comedy world, and it's like, are you that lazy of like a writer, like and for people who like attack me, it's like obviously I don't like it, and I block them, but it's like, really? Like you think this is the first time I was called a fat piece of shit? Like I mean, like you really think this is new to me? Like if you really want to hurt me, come after me for so many other, like there's so many things you could come after. Being fat is like calling me short. Like I've been this way my entire life. It's not a surprise, and frankly, it's just it shows how creative you are, and it's just like you're going after very low hanging fruit. But it's like even like with people who you're close to, when they get mad, it's like you're fat ass, or even like the worst is like, because I have a lot of friends who are, our friendship, a lot of it's based on going out to eat, but and I'm very thankful to have people in my life who care about me and want me to get healthy. But it's also, there's also people who are like, hey, you want to go out to eat, and you go out to eat, and then on the way home they're like, you really got to lose weight. It's like, well, you invited me out to eat. Like, what did you invite me out to just like bring me down? Like it's like it's a very you get it from all sides. I mean, everyone wants to tell you how fat you are.
I am proud to say that I have worked tirelessly to surround myself with the people who I want to have in my life, in the sense that they do not judge me for my looks in any way. And so it's been a hard time. And I know, like, I'm not saying you can do it overnight. It's easy to say, oh, yeah, I just kicked them out. Don't talk to them anymore. It's a lot more than that. Because like I go to sushi buffets with my friends when, of course, when things are safe,
Right.
and so and we all eat. It's just the title and the name is buffet.
Right.
So,
I'm getting my money's worth. Yeah.
right. And so I go there, I eat with my friends, but also like it's my friends know that I know my limit. I know my thing, and they know my limit. So if it ever comes to where I'm getting close to my limit, the only thing my friends do is check on that limit, because they know I set these things for me. And then then they ask. They don't tell, they just ask. And they know it's hard to do that because they know that there's a chance it could be like a little bit of a trigger, like Shane, blah blah blah, how's it go? But because we have that respect for each other, and it's not just a friendship for the sake of a friendship,
Mm-hmm.
we are able to be fully level with each other. And I have always been proud to teach my friends who are here or be with people that are open to true communication. Passive aggressive is a thing that I will kick you out of my life. I do not tolerate passive aggressive. If you're going to be passive aggressive to me, if you're not going to be open to me, tell me you're upset with me anyway, I'll ask you directly straight to your face. What is up? Why are you saying this? I need to know. And they're like, well, then they're like, well, would it even bother? I'm like, okay, well, clearly you're not okay with saying this. So when you're ready to talk, come back and talk to me. Until then, have a good day.
Can you be my life coach? I'm the classic overthinker. Like if someone sends a text that I think is mad, I'll freak out for hours, and they're like, oh, I just was busy. And it's hard to say that, because like as you were saying earlier, like I don't know if it's a big thing, or maybe it's this kind of person tends to get big, but you don't, at being a big person, I was always trying to be out of the limelight. I never wanted to, like, I would avoid going to certain places, or I would avoid, like, for example, flying, which is tough for a big person for many reasons, but I would choose the window seat partly because I liked it, but also because I was like, listen, I'm not going to go to the bathroom because I'm not going to, and then no one's going to have to get over me. That's tough. Like, I can, like, you can sort of hide, like, as a big person, it sounds weird because people can see you, and I'm guilty of it as well, because it's just when you see someone who's big, that's really the first, unfortunately, you see it, like, they're big, and it's like, you can, like, as a big person, like, a lot of times, like, one of the worst ones for me, and the mom was very nice, but I was in the window, a little girl in the middle, and the mom in the aisle, and we were on Virgin Airlines, and when they had the remotes and the armrest, and I was, of course, going over the armrest a little bit, so the mom just said to the daughter, hey, why don't you take the remote out and just keep it out? And it was just like it just killed me, because I was like, I get, like, she didn't say anything mean or rude, but it was like just something that I was just again reminded that I was too big really to be in that position. And it's like, because of that, it's why we don't take our shirts off. It's like why we don't go to the beach. It's why we don't, like, even going to, like, a picnic is rough, because you're like, are they gonna have those flimsy chairs? Like, I've, knock on wood, I've never broken a chair, but it's not for lack of, like, it's not because I keep sitting down and getting lucky. It's because I won't go to places where I don't trust that the chair is gonna be able to hold me, or I don't like this restaurant because the chairs are connected to the table, and I know I'm not gonna fit into that thing. So I always I always go here. It's like it's a very alone thing, because you just put yourself in a way, like, I don't want to put my friends through that, and I don't want them to see me doing that, and, like, I don't want people to know what I go through.
I totally understand. When I was on a plane once, I was the last one to get on the plane, and oh my gosh, the eyes,
Oh yeah.
just staring at me as I walked back to my seat. And the thing is, the two ladies who were in my section, they looked at me and they started whispering, and then one was like, nope, 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 nope. And then I was like, I'm so sorry. I can already tell that you're uncomfortable with it. This is my spot, and I'll do all I can. Just push myself into the aisle so that you don't have to worry about me. So I sat down. I got the seatbelt extension, and wrapped myself up. And then I just leaned all the way over to the left. And then she freaked out. She had room. I was not touching her, but she freaked out. And so she called the attendant, and she was just like, I can't sit here. I can't sit with this. Like, what do you think this is? Like, I have no room at all. Meanwhile, she had, like, I don't know how big this is. I don't know if there's going to be a video with this, but it's like a foot. She had a foot of me leaning over of space. I was not touching her. And then she's like, I have no space. I can't do any of this. I can't fly like this. You need to find me another seat right now. And so the flight attendant, she looked at me. She was flight attendant. I could tell in her eyes that she was so sympathetic and sorry. And then she's like, unfortunately, there is no other seat. She's like, well, I'm not flying on this. I can't do this. I can't. And so she caused a huge scene. And so, and then my mom was, I think 5-6 rows ahead of me. And I could see that she was getting so mad. and so we unfortunately, like, yeah, it was my fault for not maybe booking faster to get a seat with my mom, and we could have sat beside each other. I felt terrible. I was apologizing to the lady, like, I'm so sorry that I'm ruining this for you. I'm sorry that I'm causing you this discomfort. I really am. And then her friend looked around, and she's like, it's not your fault, don't worry about it. And then the friend turned and snapped at her, and I was like, ah! And then she got up. The flight attendant asked me to stand up, and then I had to step back. The lady got up, they took her to the front, and I just sat there for a sec. My mom pulled this flight attendant, talked to her. Next thing you know, my mom is sitting beside me, and my mom would not talk to the lady to the right of her. As much as the lady was trying to apologize for the situation, I had to tell my mom, like, look, it wasn't this lovely lady, it was the other person. But this whole thing caused the plane to choose people stood around. They almost kicked her off. I was so embarrassed. I was holding back tears. I was just like, and everyone was just looking at me, everyone. And so I swore I was never going to go on a plane after that, and until I lost weight. And so, unfortunately, I got a job that required me to fly across the country a few years ago, and I realized I could either go through the same situation or I'm going to have to save up some money and get into a bigger class section. And so that's what I had to do. So I saved up. I got to the bigger class because buying 2 seats was more expensive than going to a bigger class section on this flight.
Right.
And so I went to the bigger class section, and then I realized this was still a little bit snug, but there's more room. The person didn't complain. I chose my seat really well.
Yeah.
But it's like I have to fly in a more expensive section because of my size. And I know there's probably people there who will like, just lose weight, then you want to talk about it. Yeah, let's do it right now. Give me the one.
Yeah, I never considered losing weight. Yeah, that's the first time I thought about it.
And so then afterwards I realized, you know what? If I have to live in a higher class section, I don't know, is it called higher class or I don't know what it's called. A higher tier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, a higher tier of seating. And then I remember one time I was like, you know what? I'm going to work so hard. I'm going to save up. And I got into business class once. I worked so hard. And I was like, I'm never leaving. I could stretch my arms out. I had no one around me. Oh my gosh. And so I was like, but like, it's still that feeling. I remember I was celebrating. And then it hit me again. It's like, I had to pay so much money just because I'm a larger guy. But no one looked at me. Right. If anything, people were looking at me because I was in that line, and they're just like, "Why is someone so young just in this line?" And I was honestly like a quarter of the age of everyone else inside of this line to get into business class.
Wow!
And then I was tried to dress as professional as I could to try and make it. And so I'm like, yeah, it's just like I was like this. I was like, what was it? I was just 25. I think 25, 27, between 25 and 27, one of the two. And people were like much older, but they were really nice.
Well, and, this isn't about weight at all. I've only flown first class once. How amazing! Like just forget about being big. How you feel like a king in first class.
Oh my gosh!
When they walk by you and you're like, get back there. Like that woman who was mean to you, like she's going back to coach with the animals. And meanwhile, you're getting a mimosa. And they're like, Mr. Wally, how are you doing this evening? And you're like, yeah, like it's just that's amazing. But it's it's just, and you're right. It is in our fault for like no one forced us to eat. But it's like, the thing that gets me is like, people who drink, that's you're not cool unless you go out and party. And like everyone has problems. The only issue is like smokers, like you don't see it. It's in their lungs. Like people who drink, it's in their liver and other issues. But when your issue is food, unfortunately that's front and center for everybody. So it's like that woman who was so rude to you, like there's no way she was an angel with no problem. She had her own issues and was taking it out on you. But it's just, I mean, there's so many examples. Like I remember one of the ones for me was it was in 8th grade, and you remember the song like Your Body Is a Wonderland?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, some kids in a group were singing it, and I was standing there. And I used to say it as a joke on stage because before the pandemic, I was being a stand-up comedian. But this kid next to me, his name, I won't say his last name to out him, but his first name was Kevin, and he goes, "Stop, Lee, you can't be with us and sing this song because your body's not a wonderland." And it's just like when it's like when that woman was making a big deal, or when it's just said out there, like that you just wanna just just dissolve. Like it's just like I think that's why for me, I don't know if it was the same for you or not, but I avoided friendships and going out. Like it's just I think a lot of big people just retreat into their homes and to with their families if they trust their families. Because it's safe. Like it's, but the part for me, and it sounds like you might have had a similar thing. Like what was really upsetting to me is meeting families who are just as mean to people as like the outside world. Like mothers who tell like their daughters, oh, you're getting too fat. Like obviously, like my parents tried to help me lose weight, and we didn't ignore it. But I feel so bad for, there are people who not only get it from the outside world, but they get it from the people who are supposed to be your safety net. And it's just it's a very sad thing. Like it sounded like your mom is one of your champions.
My mom is one of my champions. I also will never speak ill of someone who's not here to defend themselves. But I can definitely say, as much as my family has been a safe haven, it also has been an issue. And there is lots of things that have been said that will stick with me for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah, you never forget, yeah.
Right? And everyone has those things with their family. And so when it comes to the weight, the one thing that gets really, this is one thing I'll pick up. So, okay, I have to give context. So we had this couch that was poorly made. And unfortunately, I was the one that when I sat on it at its last day, it was me.
Of course.
And so, but this thing was breaking from day one. And I was telling them all the time. And so I sat on it. And so, of course, the middle of it broke. So ever since then, my mom's been super, I always see her eyes when it comes to being on the couch. And the things I always tell her this, I'm very calm when it comes to this too. I always make sure she knows how it's making me feel. But she'll just like, well, maybe you could sit closer to the side. Maybe you could sit on the ground. And I'm just like, I asked her, I was like, do you know how you're making me feel right now? And then she stops and she's like, well, I didn't mean, like, hold on, just let me finish, please. And so it's like, I know that you're in your mind thinking that this is your couch, you don't want something to happen. I totally respect that. I'm not gonna break your couch. I am not a cannonball just on your couch. That's not how it is. And so like I was just like, if you want, yeah, I'll sit on the ground. I'll do whatever makes you happy. But I just want you to know how it's making me feel when you are more concerned over a couch at this moment.
Right.
And so, and my mom, like she is 100% out of all of my family members, my biggest lifter upper person. And so when she says something and she knows it bothers me, she will apologize and apologize and apologize until until it gets really bad. and that's one thing. I remember we had a conversation once where it was years ago, back before I wanted to lose weight. And she mentioned how big I was and my weight, and it was just in a comment, and I was just like, it's like, wow, that hurt. And then hours later, like I think at 3 a.m, she knocks on my bedroom door and she's crying. I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? She's like, I'm so sorry I made that comment about your weight today. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And so like I gave her a hug and I was just like, I'm just like, that I will never be mad at you in this sense. If I'm hurt, I'll tell you. And I was hurt and I told you, but don't cry. In a sense. But there's and I'm sure we have been on a very similar path. Like I've been told I should die because of being big. I've been told that someone wanted to, and I'm just going to say this is probably a trigger warning for some people. I've been told that I should get a gun and shoot myself, or someone will bring one and shoot me. Oh, because it's just like, I was like, how could you live with yourself being big like this? I was in grade 6 when that first happened.
Wow.
So a kid said, I just closed my locker and I accidentally bumped into them. And they're like, trigger warning again. Can I swear on this or no?
You could do whatever you want. You could take
Okay.
your shirt off if you wanted to.
No. And so they said there. I remember this. It's like ingrained in my spine. I know, like, I can't say soul, but it's like it's always there. They're like, you're so fucking fat, Shane, and so fucking annoying. I'm just gonna kill you one day. Just know that.
Jesus.
And I'm just like, okay.
Right.
And then I apologized to them. And so I was just like, oh gosh. And so it's been a world, you know. I could go on for hours about the things
Right.
that happened growing up, right? But
Oh, you and I are having a therapy session. I mean, I'm sure we could go back and forth for 10 hours about all
gosh,
the bad things that happened to us. But the reason why I'm having you on is my whole goal with this podcast is to, because I didn't, obviously America is one of the biggest countries in the world and everyone's overweight, but when I started really talking about losing weight, and like I have a Patreon where I started it mainly because I needed something to keep me accountable, and I work out with these people 4 days a week, and I post my weight, and because unfortunately I won't do it for myself, but I'll do it because I know other people are counting on me. And what my goal is with this podcast is to reach the people like us who have this shared experience. Because my brother, we had an awful relationship for about 10 years, but as an adult, he's like the only member of my family in shape. He turned out to be a personal trainer and a nutrition expert. And I was talking to him, and he does an online consulting business. And I said, like, what percentage of your customers who are trying to get in shape are already in shape, or like maybe have to lose 20 pounds versus people like me who have 50, 100 or plus pounds to lose? And he said almost 80% of them were already pretty much in shape. And I think what a lot of people that my size go through is sort of like an acceptance or giving up. And I don't really care. Like, I don't really even know what my goal. Like, I'm never gonna be shredded, but I want to be, for me. Like, I was friendly with Ralphie May. I don't know if you know. He was a bigger comedian. He passed away a couple years ago. He was 45. But he was a very big guy, but he passed away at way too young. And I'm getting into my 30s now, into my early to mid 30s, I guess. And I don't want to have just 10 years left. So I don't care if you want to lose 10 pounds. Like, I just want, what my goal is with this is to make this accessible and to show people that it's possible, and to highlight like the little victories of like one of the best videos that I've seen of you is you have a purple shirt. It's either purple or blue that like didn't fit but now fits. And like, as much as people say nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, frankly that's BS. But the victory of putting on something that didn't fit can make you like not cheat that day on your diet. And so what I want to talk to you now about is that decision last January to A, lose the weight, but B, I'm interested in your, well, actually let's just start with that. What was the initial reasoning behind last January? Like, what made you start this journey?
I'm 100% going to answer that, but I do want to touch on something you said. You said that you'll never be shredded.
Right.
So in my sole philosophy of everything is that you can be anything you want to be.
Right.
And so I hear that, and I totally understand the mindset, but I know for a fact that even if I have loose skin, I'm going to be so fit, because that is what I want. That is what I'm realizing, and that's what I'm going to get. I don't care if it takes me until I'm 5,000 years old. Right. I am going to get that because that is what I want. And I can. I know I can. I have huge thighs, huge breasts and stomachs and arms and things, but I won't have that anymore. I will have those muscles. I will have those striations. I will have those obliques, those abs, those biceps, those triceps, everything, the quads, the legs, everything. I know. And that's something that I always want to make sure someone who is also in the same situation as me understands that you can have that.
Well, thank you. You're very. I told you, I'm gonna call you, and just because you're such a positive person, and you're right. There's something in my mindset that's still the big mindset of making excuses. Or you're absolutely right. You're right. You know what? I'm gonna be a what is it, like a fitness model one day. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah. Well, first of all, so thank you for that. You're
You're
absolutely, you're
welcome.
100% right.
Don't sell yourself short for the things that you are dreaming of. They are there for you to catch, and you will catch it 100%. And so it doesn't matter what is your obstacle. If you want it, you'll find a way around it. And so and that is something that I just truly believe in, that if you want to have the abs, the pecs, the arms, whatever, being shredded, I truly believe in you that you'll get it.
Well, you're a wonderful person. Thank you very much, Shane.
So you are more than welcome, and I hope that whatever feeling you have and that flame of inspiration does not go out. It will feel dark and tough sometimes. And after having, I'm just going to say this food group because it's the easiest. If you're having a cheeseburger, it's okay, because people out there who are fit still eat cheeseburgers.
Right.
And so it's just like, you will get it. You'll get it 100%. Now to the January thing. So to the January thing, the reason why I started this journey this time is because I broke my bed.
I've been there.
I broke the box spring and I fell through, and I was just like, oh. I was not happy.
You hit rock bottom, or you hit bottom, I guess.
Yeah, and I was just like, damn it. I actually took a day or two off work because I was so embarrassed. And thankfully the job that I had was in its downtime, so it was okay. Normally I'm the person who will go to work even if I am dying, and so it was a lot. I had that, and then that moment I was just like, I need to find my source. I need to find my support group. I need to find my path. And if I just, so I planned this all out, and I was on TikTok, and I thought, the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to be made fun of again. And so I was like, let's do it. So I posted a video on there saying that I weighed over 400 pounds. And that was a cop out because I was too ashamed to say that I weighed over 500. And so yeah.
Oh no, there's no. I've lied about my weight since day one. So yeah, I mean, I'm being honest now, but no, that's one of the first things you do is you always lie about your weight. It's but so you posted on TikTok for like the beginning of your diet. You were there from day one.
No, so I started in August of 2019, and I was just posting whatever trending stuff was happening. I was getting maybe 2-3 views, all that at this point. But then I moved into the more creative side of TikTok. I was doing outfits, I was doing cosplay, I was doing makeup, these things like that, storytelling, all these things, because I'm a creative person. I was a performer when I was a kid. I was big, but I liked being on stage, Mm-hmm. And so I love telling stories. I loved acting it out. And that's what I still hold to my roots in my TikToks I do today. That's why I tell stories in my TikTok. And I'm moving into skits, so hopefully that will still be good. Like comedy skits and things of that sort. Hopefully they do well, I hope.
I'm sure they'll do amazing.
Thank you. And so I lost my place.
So when you started posting out the weight loss on TikTok.
Right. And then it came into January. It's coming to January, and I wasn't feeling being in the niche. I didn't even say I had a niche at that point. I was getting, actually I did. From day one, I always had a positive vibe to all of my TikToks, except for maybe a few or 3 dark ones, but like it's for story purposes. And so, but it's just like, I've always had that positive vibes. And then my mom's like, you should put on your TikTok, CEO of positive vibes. And so I was just like, okay. So I had it there for the longest time. I have it on my my Instagram still. And because I truly feel like, positive vibes is everything I live for. And then I realized, I was like, okay, I'm going to post about my weight. So I was open. The first day I posted that emotional video about broke my bed. I went to go visit my father the next day. And then I remember 2 weeks after I visited my father again, and I saw that he had a full body mirror, and that's when I posted something like that. The thing I wish I did was that I took photos, but I was still so ashamed of myself that I didn't. You when we're big, you don't want to take photos.
I
The
would
whole
avoid them. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and then and then like you're just like, oh well, like maybe if I just like hold the phone back, I won't look as big, or it's
Up
like,
here. Yeah.
right, yeah, you change the angle in some way. And that was something that's just like I realized at that time, that mental space, I was just like, I have to fight this. But I didn't take photos when I was large, and I regret it because there's some people who've been like, show us what you look like at this point. I was like, well, the best thing that you have are the things that I can show you, and unfortunately, right now, all you can get are the differences in my size of shirts, and so that's the easiest way for me to show it, and it's it was tough because again, it's a whole mental aspect of weight loss that before like that you have to go through it. At that time, I didn't want to put myself out there. I didn't want people. I was terrified to show my full body on TikTok. I always did from my just above where the person's nipples would be and higher. I would always do that higher, just like the collarbone area and up. And if I ever did show my body, I was at a faraway place and quickly moved in close. And so I was so afraid of it. And then I learned, I used TikTok as a learning tool to be comfortable with myself. I looked at how people reacted, and when people started reacting positively, of course there's some negative, but the majority is positive. And I was just like, wow, I didn't like, it's not a bullying session. It was interesting. And I started off just with a simple post, but I promised myself and everyone who I was talking about my weight loss to is that I would be entirely transparent. I would do everything. I would not lie. I would not do it. I have no reason to lie. So,
Yeah.
it's just like I would tell people how it is. I would tell people what I'm doing. And eventually I started posting things about my foods and workouts, but so many people attacked me for them because they're like, well, that's not right. Blah, 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 blah,
Oh
and
yeah.
all this stuff.
Everyone has an opinion.
And I was just like, you know what? Then you're not getting these posts anymore. And so I was just like, I don't want to deal with that. If I have lost this weight and I'm doing this, it's working. Now it's working for me. I don't know if it will work for someone else. I'm not a professional, but but it's just like there's all these things, and so it then eventually turned into where I know a lot of my content that is out there is about my weight and stuff, but I try to make sure people know that I am more than just weight loss.
100%. 100%.
And that's why I try to do skits, or I try to do things that are just positive vibes, or I try to do things that are just happy, or transitions, or fashion changes and stuff. And so because it's a lot of people have found me for my weight and my weight loss journey and the emotion that I put behind there. And so that's why I need to still make sure that what I do is around that, because that's what people came for, and I want to make sure everyone's always happy and inspired, right? So
Right. Well, so there's I have a ton of things I'm gonna get to, and I usually get to this at the end, but you just brought it up, so it's something that I always try to ask my guests, because as I said earlier, even as a big person, when you see somebody who's big, that's really that becomes their identity, and it's too bad. It's not fair. And what I like to ask is like, other than being big, like what is your favorite thing? Like what are you most proud of? Like if you were gonna describe you without saying, oh, I'm big, like what would you say?
it's hard to say because it's still a process I'm trying to get through. The one thing, it's contradictory to say what I'm thinking because it I have to make sure I say it in the right way. So I truly believe that there's a bigger picture to things, to the world, to people. And I would have to say that as much as it is can be a good thing is also a bad thing. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I'm saying this right, but I put other people's needs before mine.
Uh-huh.
And if you know the five love languages, my number one is gifting, and my second one is time, and my third one is words. And so it's like the thing I'm proud of myself, and if I would explain to someone, is that um, your heart is safe with me, and I'm proud of the fact that I've come that far. That I know that it's not cocky; it's confidence to know that I care so much about everyone, and I love everyone, and I want to see everyone succeed, and I want to just make people happy in every way possible because everyone deserves to be happy.
Oh, I mean,
That, you know,
I don't know why, and maybe you can explain, but I don't think that's contradictory at all. And it's frankly there is so much hate and anger in the world. But you're right. Like I posted a picture of my 50 pounds, and it from my level it got a lot of views, and 99% of it was positive. But so it does show you that there are good people out there, but it's frankly just being a nice person and being a good person. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have mistakes and be angry one day or be rude with somebody. But to be a good person isn't super. It is sometimes a lot easier to be mean or to like be dismissive of somebody. But as someone who's gone through the struggles that you've gone through, you know firsthand how hurtful those things can be, and so you know how on the other side of it, on the positive side, how amazing it feels and how wonderful it is when someone doesn't judge you, when you're there for someone and you can listen to them, and like you said, like you take care of other people. Like when your mom said that comment that hurt you, but she came in crying, your first instinct was, why are you upset? Even though you hurt my feelings earlier, I'm not happy because now you're upset. So I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you're a good person.
it's I think it's because when you say I feel like I'm a good person, in a way it comes to the lines of who are we to choose that, it's just like what makes you a good person. Does calling yourself a good person make you selfish? Does saying that you're selfless make you selfish? And so it's those type of things, right?
Well,
It's
yeah, it's you're putting your own worry onto it, but it's also I think the real judge or the thing that proves the way that you are is the community you've built. You've built millions of people who are supportive of you and then also supportive of each other and themselves. And yeah, anyone can say, "Oh, I'm a good person. I donate to charity," but behind doors they're yelling at their mate. Like you can anyone can say everyone. I'm sure 9 times out of 10, if you went to somebody, "Are you a good person?" They'd say yes. But the proof is in the low calorie pudding, where it's how people, the way that you interact with people and the way that you make other people feel. So like you can say like, I don't I try not to say I'm a good person, but I like to think that I that is my goal, is I try to be a nice person. That's always my, like, what I try to be, and I try to be a positive person. And I fail. No one's 100% anything, but I think that's wonderful to say like you're most proud of the fact that you can be there for people and you can be a positive influence in people's lives.
the thing that I think makes me on this path is because when I was younger and being bullied, I was so alone. And no one other than my family and maybe two people, not even understood, and or registered or cared, and always looked down to are they the one causing it? Are they the person doing this? I'm not a perfect child. I probably did stuff that, didn't make people happy. Like, of course, we all do. No, it's like, but I just so wish there was someone out at this time. I so wished there was someone out there that could have been that light. And I'm using my darkness as a light because I'm sure there's people out there who, like, as I have been talking with you, we have very good similarities in things that we've gone through. And I'm sure there's people out there who are going through something very similar and have yet to find someone that they can relate to or that they can understand or feels that they understand them, even if they don't even get a chance to talk to them. And that's why I'm always happy to know that if I can make one person smile, then I'm happy for that. And people interacting with my content allows my reach to go farther, whether it's through the likes, the comments, the sharing, anything, because that's a chance that one person out there who maybe at the end of their rope has another knot formed to keep them on, And I would have loved to have that when I was younger, but
Right.
because of how we grew up, we didn't have this wonderful social media world. Like, we were just starting Facebook. So,
I know, in high school, I remember getting it.
I remember being in class. People were like, "Yo, so have you heard this thing called the Facebook?" and so I was just like, And so, but like, yeah, it's just I just want to be there for people because they're my inspiration, and all my followers and fans are my friend. I've always said that they are my friends, and they all deserve love. They deserve happiness. They deserve kindness, and that's the thing. Why can't people just be kind to people? And that's what I strive with my positive vibes is kindness, because it's so simple.
Yep. And it means so much.
It does.
Yeah. It really helps. Now, because I'm very new to TikTok, I actually just signed up the other day just because of you. But are the majority? I mean, I don't know if you even know the answer to this, and if you don't, it's fine. Are the majority of the people who follow you in there younger? Are they younger? Are they? Is that how TikTok is? Is it for younger audiences?
TikTok is for people of all ages.
Okay.
What happens on the For You page depends on your algorithm that's specifically tailored to how you like things.
Right.
So if you like things that are in the majority popular things, then you get things anywhere from people from the ages of 16, 18, all the way up to maybe even 34, 42. It all depends on what it is, right? And it all depends on how it reacts with the content. For me, my following base ranges from people who are of the legal age to be on TikTok all the way up to 60, but with a predominant of 18 to 38.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize there was an age to be on TikTok. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is being big. Some people like us can start when they're younger, and some people have something happen, and when they're older, and they need to lose weight. But it doesn't discriminate at all. But I do want to, as positive as you were with me, I want to be with you, where you were saying, oh, people are negative and they about your either your diet or your food or your workout plans. The one thing that I've learned because I was on another podcast before this, and you get hate messages and all that. But the one thing that I like to at least tell myself, and it's hard, is your channel and your content is for you. If they don't like it, yes, they're gonna leave negative comments, and I'm super quick with the block button. I love blocking people, but if you want to post the food you're eating, like, I hope if it's something that you enjoy, I hope you go back to it, because you're right. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's people's favorite thing to be like okay, I like let's just say I like the color blue. Blue is stupid, and I like red, even though they like it's just people love to be contradictory. So I think if you want to share what's working for you, I think that's great. I mean, I know that I mean, social media, as awesome as it is, can be one of the brightest, but it can also be one of the darkest places, and it can bring a lot of hate. But I think whatever, and I think you do this from what I've seen. But I think if you're posting stuff that you're happy with and you're proud of, then frankly, it doesn't matter if you get 2 views or 3 million views. I mean, I know you want to get millions, but it should be for you. It's not. It's not for the. I mean, I'm sure you're happy and thankful and proud of the reach that you have, but this is from the. It's really for you. It's really what you want to put out there, and the people who are supportive and you want with you will find it, no matter what you put out.
The one thing that I want to make sure that people who are listening to this podcast and anyone knows that as much as I'm positive, I am not ignorant to the darkness that's out there.
No.
I like mental health is huge, and depression, anxiety, anything like that is super important. Hate is, as much as this is bad to say, but I do need to say it to make sure that this may start a normalization of it. Hate is powerful, and it is something that doesn't have to be. You know, we as humans always dwell on the negative. It's just our nature. We could have, this is going to be an exorbitant amount of numbers. We could have 2 billion positive comments and 1 negative.
Oh yeah.
Those 2 billion comments just gone, and you're just like, well, what's up? What's this about? And so it's how you address negativity. I address negativity with positivity, because the thing is, I truly believe if someone is going out there to leave a hate comment such as, oh, just put down the sandwich, or oh, I don't see that they've changed at all, or I can't even believe you allowed yourself to get that big, or like things like that. Like, one, those comments don't help. We realize we are big and we're trying to change. Either get on with us or go away. Right. And so it's just like, we get it. We probably hate ourselves more than you can probably say something, right?
100%, 1,000,000%, yeah. Yeah.
And so it's just like, go away. And so, but when I get that, I realize I need to address this, because it's important that the person who's putting out this hate hopefully has a spark of revelation. So the most common thing I do when someone gives me hate is I forgive them. And I'm just like, I am so sorry to see that something is causing you so much negativity in your life that has made you make this comment. I hope whatever it is vanishes and you find kindness soon.
Wow, that's hard to do.
Wonderful day.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. I mean, yeah, that's good for you.
It is getting over your pride of wanting to just thumb down on this person for coming at you. Like, you could get into a fight. You go, like, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. You fueled their hate. You fueled them. They have won. At that point, the second you build into them and you're defending yourself against it, not saying don't defend yourself, but I'm saying the second you go into defend yourself to a person giving you hate, they've won. You need to shut that down by not letting them have that power. The power is yours from at all times until you give it up by falling into their cycle of constant. Because they will just be like, oh yeah, well, you're still fat. Things are still going like this, or whatever the negative thing is. That's why I say what I say. I hope you, and then I never talk to them again. I from that point, I never touch their comment again. I'll probably read it to see if they respond. If they respond, oh well, I'm not responding to them. That's my power still. I'm not giving you my time to respond to your next bit. If you didn't understand from there, then that's fine. If someone says something that's really hateful and I'm afraid of how it will make my other followers feel, I will delete the comment, because I don't want someone. Some followers are so loving and so loyal and so great that they will go after these people.
Oh yeah.
And I like, thank you for being my warriors. but it's just like, this person, as I've said, is probably going through something that has caused them to be this negative. And what they need right now is kindness. And they need to find it. And so that's why I will always say, I hope whatever it is leaves you soon and you're left in a happy place have a great day, and I leave a yellow heart. Yellow heart's on my thing. I leave a yellow heart, and then I move on.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, before I let you go, and I thank you again for spending so much time with me. But the last topic is I would love to know what you're doing to lose the weight. Like, if you're on a plan, are you counting calories? Like, what's working for you so well?
So the major thing is the mental space. So I have accepted my inevitabilities. I have looked at the things that make me weak in my possible chances of success, and then from there, I moved into small changes at the beginning, small changes of food and water and activity. So the major thing I want is that nutrition is like the biggest percentage of weight loss or
Mm-hmm.
weight gain. Anything is your nutrition. As long as you control your nutrition, you'll be successful. Like you go to the gym 8 hours a day, every single day, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't match it with your nutrition, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And so it's just that, like, eat proper moderations, eat proper groups. Now, the only thing alternative I eat would be sugar free. I don't do low fat. I like people like fats are not the issue. Carbs are not the issue. None of that's the issue. All I do is I eat a lot of green food. I eat more romaine than I could count. like I don't make salads. It's just my filler vegetables. So most of my meals are styled as Vietnamese.
Okay.
I've been so lucky to have roommates that are from Vietnam, so they were really teaching me how to make recipes and things like that.
I saw the spring rolls you made the other day.
They were my closest attempt for what I had in the house.
Hey, you did better than I could have done. Yeah, you did great.
Well, like I like, and the thing is, I just love Eastern Asian food so much, and my roommates, like they're so good with keeping me on track, and they're like, I'm gonna have this today, and it's like this is this. So I hear what's in it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds perfect. So we'll have some form of noodle, we'll have a good protein, we'll have a good fat, and the spices and seasoning. Weight loss does not have to be bland. No, it does not have to be chicken and broccoli and blah, 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 things like that. It can be if you want to be. If that's your diet, if that's what you want to do, that's your sorry, I want to say nutrition, not diet. If that is your nutrition, then by all means. I don't do diets. Right. I get people, I approve, I totally believe in people who need them for medical purposes, but I don't do diets. I don't do keto. I don't do any of that sort because it's not long-term.
Right.
You need to do a lifestyle change. And that is where you are becoming aware of what you feel is good and your choices. No one else is making those choices for you. And so, I'm sorry, this may be a bit of explanation, but I will
go for it. No.
It's like, so what I eat does not make me feel heavy. Like you could eat like potatoes and meat and raw, and you're like, a Thanksgiving type dinner, and you always feel that heavy, right? And the meals I eat, I never feel heavy. So I would line up my plate like a quarter, if not half, if not a third, anything of romaine leaves. And then all my vegetables, and then I'll have my my carb, my fat, my protein, anything like that. It's just moderation, but I eat so much green because that's something I've had trainers all the years since 2012, and I've took everything that they have taught me to put it into one go. And all of them have always said green food is the best food. Yeah. And so it has so much in it that's good for you. So as long and that's the last time I ate a salad, it was a taco salad. And so it's just like you don't have to restrict what you eat because it can be delicious, and then everything can be delicious. Spices are great for you. It's just moderation. So once you get a control of your food, I always say for the first 21 days is how you make a habit. If you can go through 21 days of good eating, good water intake, because most of the people out there are dehydrated. We don't drink enough. I drink a max of 4 liters a day.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's my body size. I would say I strongly suggest go to a doctor, get a water count, and see what they could do to get that sort of. And now I know some people may not have medical accessibilities. Since I am in Canada, I do have that capability, so I know that I could go for these little things. But it's just like when it comes to that, you just need to find the proper professionals. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, but make sure that what I did was I made sure that it was my journey, no one else's. In that sense, like they don't control it. Like it's my journey. I make the choices. I'm doing this. I have my support group of beautiful, loving people who keep me going every day. They cheer me on. They give me ideas. They give me little tips and tricks and things that would be great, of course. But still, you're in the driver's seat. But it is not a race. And
Right.
once you get that race mindset in your head, like you was like, I need to lose 50 pounds by December. I need to do this by this date, blah, blah, blah. You're setting yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Tangible goals are small goals because small changes make the biggest differences. If you will say, I'd like to go down one shirt size. When? Let's just give it a year, and if not, it's okay. That means because you may not have gone down that one shirt size, but you're no longer that size that you were when you started.
Right.
So that's something that should be cheered upon.
And absolutely. And I think you're right, because like what I like to say I'm not eating like a jerk anymore. I do use my fitness pal, and I do try to stay within a certain calorie range. But to your point, I've tried every diet. But B, what I'm doing is I'm doing intermittent fasting and trying to have one meal a day, just because I know that I'm always gonna love food. And with this plan that works for me, it might not work for everyone, is I still feel like I get to have a semi regular meal where I'm not choking down a dry chicken breast and 2 pieces of broccoli. Like, you never feel full, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna quit because I'm always hungry. So for me that works, and I think that's amazing. I have 2 more questions. The one question is what's your favorite healthy meal right now? Like what do you like to make?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I love getting rice stick noodles.
Okay.
Okay.
Good start.
And then I will make a peanut sauce. So I will take like soy sauce, chili peppers, sesame oil, rice vinegar, some golden or some brown sugar, some salt, and some water. Put a bit of peanut butter in there, just whisk it all up, and then
Right.
and then I have that aside. I cook my chicken, and then usually I'll cook my chicken in oh God, I can't remember. It's so must remember. I just grab it and go. What do I put in it? But the chicken is spiced. Yeah, the chicken. There we go. Garlic and ginger. So
wow.
I do
That sounds
garlic.
delicious.
I do garlic and ginger, and I saute it up in that. I remove the chicken, and then I in the same stuff that's there, I'll throw in all my vegetables except for my romaine. I'll throw in my anything that I'm using: peppers, mushrooms, onions, whatever. My bean sprouts, stuff like that, and then I add the chicken back, stir that up, and add the noodles back, stir that up, and then add my sauce, and then I stir that up, and then I line it up with a whole bunch of romaine. I line it up with some tomato slices or cherry tomatoes, and then if it's not chicken, maybe it'll be a sausage. I don't know, whatever it is.
That sounds delicious. I'm gonna try that. That sounds amazing. So that's great. How often do you eat that? Like at least once a week?
Maybe once or twice. It's because it doesn't fill me down. I it's one of the things that I feel so good after because I control my portionings, right?
Right.
It's not like where when you put in you cook enough spaghetti that you can feed an army. But with the rice stick noodles, you really see what you're getting, and so you're just like, I'm just gonna do this much for this, and then you go like that.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things that I have to teach myself is you're gonna eat again. Like you don't have to eat everything right now. Like you don't have to order everything. You don't have to cook a huge pot of spaghetti that could feed a family or an army, as you said. Like you're gonna have spaghetti again. So like it's something that I've had to learn. So if you're comfortable telling me, I would love to know how much weight you've lost.
So I only weigh myself quarterly.
Okay.
So I'm coming close to my next weigh-in, but as of my last one, it was 118 pounds.
Congratulations. That's it's so hard to do, and I don't think people. I know you have a lot of positive people, but it's I don't know if people tell you enough how amazing and hard and to keep it off for 14 months so far. That's amazing and wonderful, and I'm just so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm happy for you and all your
Well,
success as well.
hopefully, this time next year we'll talk again and we'll both be down another 50, 100, whatever. However, it would be amazing. So, for people who don't already follow you, where can people find you?
So people can follow me on TikTok. My username is Shane Wally. And for YouTube, it's Shane Wally. For Instagram, it's Shane_Wally. For Twitch, this is a different spelling. Shane Wally, but WALLEE. And
Okay.
that will be changing. Apparently there's like a period I have to wait to change that. And then where else is it? Oh gosh.
Twitter, maybe?
I have Twitter, but I go on it maybe once every 4 months. but it's Shane Wally.
Okay. And can you spell Wally just for everyone who's listening?
Yeah, so WHALLEY.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other one is WALLEE, right?
On Twitch.
Yeah, on Twitch. Twitch is so fun. That's the one thing I want to tell people. If you ever want to have a good conversation with me and just like talk whatever you want, come join me on Twitch. That is where you get to see like me, you know.
Right.
We laugh, you get to see me get scared. I play horror games on there.
I saw that. I would jump out of my seat. I hate horror things. I don't know how you do that.
Okay, can I say a little something that happened that just made me freak out?
Oh, absolutely. You can say whatever you want.
So we're playing this one game, and like it's a horror game. It's the one I was recently playing, The Medium. Beautiful game. And so I turn off all the lights. So like there's lights that shine all on this wall behind me and on the roof. So I turn them all down to be the spooky, horror type lights. and so my mom's upstairs, and I'm like, I hear like the beast that's in the game, and then it goes quiet for a bit, and my mom moved a chair upstairs and it went across and I looked and I forget that my ring light is sitting right beside me, and I look and I'm like, and I freak out. It's clipped. It's on my Twitch. My mom's clipped it. Oh my god, it was so. I remember that. That was so funny. We sat there and we laughed for so long. Because we're just like, what? Oh my gosh,
that's hysterical. Yeah, it'd be tough for me. Like I don't watch horror movies because I scream like a little child. But that's hysterical. Yeah, that's great.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that's great. Go ahead.
Oh, I call my horror screams called Scream Stream. So so it happens, and so I'm sure that name's probably used somewhere. I don't know, but I just say streams. We're doing some Scream Streams because it. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. I love everyone who has joined me on this journey, and I just can't wait to see how far it goes. It's been so wonderful being with everyone, and I can't be who I am without the people who have joined me. And I know I said that, but it's just so true. People are allowing me to live the life I couldn't even have dreamed of when I was younger. And a lot, like, I was a shell that was burning inside for better things. And it's taken a while, but it's happening. And
that's so amazing.
I just wish I could go back and just hug myself and be like, just like, you got it. So,
Well, as soon as we can go into each other's countries again, I'm going to come give you a big hug because this has just been amazing, Shane. You're a wonderful, wonderful person, and I'm just so happy that we got to meet and talk. And thank you for coming on The Waistline. And please keep in touch, and I'll let you know when this gets posted. But this was amazing, and I'm happy to get to talk to you.
Oh, wonderful. It's wonderful to speak with you as well.
Thank you so much to Mr. Shane Wally, as he calls himself the CEO of Positive Vibes, and he's earned it. He is the CEO of Positive Vibes. So amazing to talk to him. I got so lucky that he agreed to be on the show. So thank you, Shane, for coming on. Thank you to your agent for facilitating all of it. And also, I just want to say, just from a podcaster's point of view, I don't know if any of you out there have a podcast, but sometimes if you have a guest on who you don't know in advance, they don't always go great. Sometimes you don't mesh. But as soon as I met Shane, as soon as he came on, it felt like that scene from Step Brothers. Like, did we just become best friends? Yup. Like, I want to, as soon as this silly pandemic is over, I'm going to go give Shane a big in-person hug, because I feel like when you give Shane a hug, rainbows pop out, unicorns can fly, and brownies have no calories, because Shane is just a wonderful, very nice person. Please go follow him on Instagram, Shane_Walley, WHALLEY, and on TikTok, he's just Shane Walley. Well, I'm sorry, Shane Walley, no underscore. I want to make it very obvious for you guys. That was just the best. That's all I have to say. He was the best. Thank you to all of you for watching and listening. Don't forget, if you are listening and you would like to see my guests and my beautiful faces, please, there's a YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Waistline Podcast. You can email me at waistlinepodcast@gmail.com. And please support our sponsors, because it keeps my mom's lights on. It is, our sponsor this week is Manscaped. So go to manscaped.com and use code SYATT, SYATT. That is what you mean to me. It's code SYATT, and you get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Don't forget, Lawnmower 3.0, the Crop Reviver, and the Crop Preserver. So your crops, your twig and berries, your man's twig and berries, whatever you think, that area is going to be perfecto. I don't know why I feel bad. I'm going to wish I didn't do that, but it's in there. It's in there, and we don't do retakes here at the Waistline Podcast. Please don't forget, tune in next week. I'll let you know how I'm doing on my weight loss journey. Hopefully I'll be around, 62, 63-ish, maybe more pounds lost. Maybe I'll wake up and I'll be 100 pounds down. Maybe I don't think it works like that, but you never know. Maybe my prayers will be answered. Next week we have John Glod of Obese to Beast coming on, another amazing episode with actually a surprise guest. If we have an amazing guest with John Glod, Obese to Beast, but we have a surprise guest on that episode, and I'll just give a little teaser that Obese to Beast, Mr. John Glod, said it was his favorite podcast that he's ever done because of this surprise guest. So please come in. Oh, look at me. I'm like Game of Thrones. I'm ending on a cliffhanger. Tune in next Tuesday. Watch, listen, and good luck on your weight loss journey. I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Thank you for all of the support. And until next time, my name is Lee Syatt, and this is the Waistline Podcast.